Hey everyone, this is Matt, and in today's video, I have for you some Dark Magician related content. That's right. So, if any of you have been watching LOLZA's content or saw the last video that I posted where I do a collab with LOLZA, basically, I created some custom cards for Dark Magician because I love Dark Magician. I'm a Dark Magician player at heart. I really want the deck to be playable. I really want it to be good. So, I came up with 3 custom cards that I think will make the deck top tier, right? Like cards that I want to, once released, never hear a complaint or whining from Dark Magician players ever again. Like these are all the cards we need. Like once these 3 are released, I don't think we need any more cards like until the end of time, uh, allegedly. So anyway, so I'll go over the cards again one more time and what they do, the custom cards, and then I'll show you my deck build using these cards, and then we'll go into some test hands. So LOLZA is planning to do some test hands, and once he gets his computer fixed, and I'll probably collab with him again. But until that happens, I have a working computer, so I'm gonna do test hands and put stuff on my channel because yeah, for those of you who just enjoy like Dark Magician related content, I'm here for you. Yeah. Anyway, so the first custom card we have here, for those of you who didn't watch the other video, we have Dark Magical Fusion Ritual. So this card has the following effect: activate one of the following effects. Right, so on activation, you pick one of these 2 to do. The first effect says, fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck, using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material, including a Dark Magician monster that it lists as material, and if you do, its name becomes Dark Magician. Also, during the turn this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except monsters that mention Dark Magician. If you control or reveal in your hand Dark Magician or a monster that mentions it, you can also use monsters in your deck as fusion material. And then the second effect says, so you either do a fusion summon or you do a ritual summon, right? So the second one says, ritual summon 1 level 7 or higher dark spellcaster or ritual monster from your hand, deck, graveyard, or face-up banished cards by tributing monsters from your hand or field, including a Palladium monster, a Dark Magician, or a monster that mentions it, whose total levels equal or exceed the level of the ritual monster. And if you do, its name becomes Dark Magician. If you control or reveal in your hand Dark Magician or a monster mentioned, you can also tribute monsters from your deck. So basically, I didn't want to make it so that you could just like use materials from deck right away, unless you also control a Dark Magician related monster or reveal one in your hand. So that'll make it less splashable in other decks. So I don't think I'm not trying to make it so that only pure Dark Magician decks can play this. Like I think if you want to make like a hybrid Dark Magician deck, like for example Dark Magician Buster Blader or maybe Dark Magician Witchcrafter or something, right? Like then I think that's okay, as long as you commit a sizable Dark Magician engine to it. So like just having this fusion spell and like the Dark Magician brick in your deck will not be enough. You have to also have a Dark Magician monster in your hand or field to use the materials from the deck, right? So that makes you commit hopefully like 10 cards to an engine, right? And what would the 10-card engine be? 3 of these, maybe 3 rods and 3 Illusion of Chaos, or plus a vanilla Dark Magician, for example, right? And possibly like a dragon if you want to go into like a Dragoon fusion. So yeah, that clause is in there to make you commit to more than just like the 3 spells, right? And then the other thing is that basically the turn you activate this card, you get locked into Dark Magician related monsters for special summoning from the extra deck, right? So you can still special summon other monsters, but just not from the extra deck unless they're Dark Magician related ones. So maybe I could make it a more strict requirement where like maybe the monsters, like not just extra deck monsters, but all monsters you special summon have to be Dark Magician related. Maybe, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's a little too strict. Note: this card is not hard once per turn, which means if you draw multiple copies of this card, it will be playable. You can use it again. So the idea behind that is that Dark Magician has so many like really cool boss monsters, right? And I feel like I want to be able to get multiple of them out in a given turn. So I think being able to play this card more than like once per turn is okay, especially given the power creep. Like look at the power creep, right? We have Sprite, they summon out the ass. We have like tier limits that like it does infinite amounts of summoning and like boss monsters and like text and whatever they can do. I think it's okay to make this card a little broken, just so that Dark Magician can compete with like the power creeping current formats, right? Once we get into playtest, you'll see that this card not being once per turn is insanely powerful, and maybe we'll make Dark Magician too broken. But again, like inevitably, Dark Magician would get power crept or out of the format anyway by just better and better decks. So So that's the first card. Second card is a Link 1. So this Link 1 monster is a Dark Spellcaster with 800 attack. Its Link materials is one Dark Magician or monster that mentions it. And then the effect reads: you can also use a Dark Magician monster or Palladium monster in your hand as material to link summon this card. If this, so they basically this makes it so that if you draw any of the bricks, like the Palladium monsters or Dark Magician monsters, you can use it in hand as material. So this is not dissimilar. This is like very similar to the Kotaku archetype that can link summon using monsters in hand, or like the Altergeist Pukari, right? And then it says, if this card is summoned, you can set one spell trap that mentions Dark Magician directly from your deck or graveyard to a zone this card in this card's column. And if it was a trap or a quick play spell, you can activate it this turn. So basically, this is another spell trap search, but it has to go in the column under the link arrow, essentially, right? If this card is in your graveyard, quick effect: you can tribute one Dark Magician or monster that mentions it. Special on this card, you can only use this effect of the Magician's Apprentice once per turn. So the idea behind this Link 1 is it's supposed to be a replacement for all the Link 1s currently in the Dark Magician deck. So Dark Magician deck runs Imduck, Link 1, Artemis, and Link 1, and Link Spider, which is a Link 1. Basically, this gets rid of the need for all three of those, so that you could just run this one card. And it also has like this cool like graveyard tribute and summon itself effect, similar to Link Karibo, right? And so this monster is a hard once per turn on each of its effects. So you can't just like search like 3 times, right? So yeah, so that's the Link 1. I think this will solve the problem of getting Dark Magician off the field whenever you need it, because this is in the graveyard, like it's a Link 1, right? And also this will solve a problem of like just giving you more ways to search spell traps, because unfortunately like the best 2 spell traps in the game, like Dark Magical Circle, or for Dark Magician, Dark Magical Circle and Eternal Soul, like it's hard to get both of them out on the same turn, but this makes it a little easier, right? Now for the Link 2. So this monster is called Sorcerer of Dark Illusions, Link 2 Dark Spellcaster. It requires 2 Dark Magicians or monsters that mention it. You can also use Dark Magician monsters or Palladium monsters in hand as material to link some of this card. So similar effect as a Link 1. And then it says your opponent cannot target Dark Magician monsters this card points to with card effects. So that means that just gives some protection, right? From being targeting. During your main phase, you can send one Dark Magician or card that mentions it from your deck to your graveyard. Then target one Dark Magician or card that mentions it in your graveyard or banish cards with a different name from the sent card. Place that target on the bottom of the deck, then draw 1 card. So basically, this helps you recycle, put some things back in your deck from either your banish pile or your graveyard, while also milling a card. If spell trap cards that mention, and then the final effect is if a spell trap card that mentions Dark Magician would be destroyed by card effect, you can banish this card from your field or graveyard instead. You can only use it if you check the Sorcerer of Dark Illusions once per turn. So this gives one monster targeting protection, spell trap destruction protection, and it allows you to move cards between your banish pile and graveyard in your deck. So yeah, so those are 3 cards. So let's get into what the deck would look like. So here's the deck I made. So we have 2 copies of Dark Magician, 1 Dark Magician Girl, 1 Mahad, 1 Mana. So basically, like with the cards I added, all 4 of the Soul Servant, like bricks, quote unquote, it will be playable, right? 1 copy of Apprentice Illusion Magician, 1 copy of Timaeus, 3 copies of Rod, 3 copies of Magician Souls, 1 copy of Saravis. This is a dragon monster, so it's potentially a Dragoon fusion material, right? But it's also searchable off of Preparation of Rites, and it is it's like a hand trap that protects monsters from being targeted by card effects. 1 Magician of Chaos, 2 Illusion of Chaos, 2 Preparation of Rites, 1 Upstart Goblin, 1 Call by the Grave, 3 Soul Servants, 1 Secret Dark Magic, 3 of my custom Dark Magical Fusion Ritual card, 1 Dark Magical Circle, 1 Magician Salvation, 1 Eternal Soul, 3 Skill Drain, and then I just put some Bestials, 3 Magnamut and 3 Jerusalem. So yeah, these last 9 cards you can swap with anything you want. I just saw in the current format like 6 Bestials are just like generically good cards, right? And Skill Drain is always good in Dark Magician decks. And also, since all these monsters here are dragons, they potentially can be fusion fodder for Dragoon, right? And because Magnamut searches a dragon on end phase, you could theoretically search your Timaeus or Saravis on your opponent's end phase. Like let's say you go second, all right, and then you get these cards in your hand. So very good. Extra deck, we have 2 copies of Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, one copy of Dark Magician Dragon Knight, one copy of the Dark Magicians, one copy of Master Chaos, one copy of Quintet Magician, one copy of Guardian Chimera. So that's your fusion lineup. And then for links, we have one Axis Code, one Soldier of Chaos, one Selene, one Dark the Dark Charmer, two of my Link 2s, and two of my Link 1s. Yeah, I think two of each is enough. Honestly, you can play with one of each because the Link 1 is recyclable from the graveyard, and then the Link 2, well, the Link 2 is not, but like with two copies of Link 2, you can theoretically use this to target the other one in the graveyard to send it back to put it back in your extra deck. So anyway, so that's the deck profile. Is 40 cards. So yeah, with this build, we should be able to ramp up our Soul Servant draws with the 4 monsters. We should be able to go into Magician of Chaos if we'd like, and we should be able to summon one or more of the fusion monsters. So let's get into like a solo here, solo mode, to see what a test hand would look like. All right, so here we have a test hand with 2 bricks, quote unquote, a Soul Servant, and then a Dark Magical Fusion Ritual, right? So right off the bat, what I'm thinking is we can activate this card here to basically fusion summon, to perform a fusion summon. So let's do, so we'll activate this, and then we're actually going to fusion summon the Dark Magicians, like by sending Dark Magician Girl and Mahad from the deck. I mean, we would reveal a card in hand, so I would literally reveal like Dark Magician, right, in order to send materials from deck, and then that will special summon the Dark Magician's defense position, and then we could do a link summon. So I will send mana to the graveyard. So to link into, where is it? Magician's Apprentice, and then on summon activate Magician's Apprentice to set one of the a spell trap from deck, right? So we can do, for example, this here. All right, and this will allow us to activate Eternal Soul on the same turn. So next, what we can do is we could activate here this to basically put Dark Magical Circle. Whoops. On top of the deck. And then on resolution, activate the Dark Magicians to draw it. Okay, next what we can do is we can link off this card and this card. Like this, right? And then what would we do? We would activate its effect, sending milling a monster, right? So let's mill Rod to the graveyard, and then and our target would be Dark Magical Circle. So this will go to the bottom of the deck, and then we will draw a card. Alright, so we got Rod, cool. Now we want a normal summon Rod. Let's see. So let's do normal summon Rod here, and then we'll grab Dark Magical Fusion Ritual to our hand. Okay. And then let's go ahead and activate this again, because it's not once per turn. Since we control a Dark Magician, we can go ahead and mill. Let's mill Dark Magician here and a dragon. Let's do Timaeus. Actually, Set it to Myas. I'm just gonna do a Bestial. It doesn't really matter. Let's do a Druid Swarm to summon Dragoon. Okay, and now what I want to do is I want to activate Dark Magical Circle. So let's do its and then the top 3 cards. So we can't add any of them. That's okay. So let's put on top of deck. And then we could activate Soul Servants in the graveyard. Let's do declare. So banish the draw 4 because we have all 4 names, right? The Palladium monster. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now we could do. Let's see. We can activate Magician's Souls, sending Magician of Chaos to the graveyard to summon itself in defense position. Okay, and now we could. Let's see. Oh, actually, let's move this over here. Put in this position. Now we could declare its effect, sending an extra skill drain, so to the graveyard, and call by the grave to the graveyard to draw 2 cards. Okay. Now we could let's see. Activate Eternal Soul and use it. Its effect to basically summon Dark Magician back from the graveyard. So let's summon this guy back like this. And now we could perform a link summon of. So let's do 1, 2, 3 to link summon into Lackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. And then this is our end board. So, oh, I guess we could set skill drain. So let's get a skill drain here. I mean, oh, actually, I can't summon Blackluster Soldier because I'm locked into monsters that have Dark Magician in its name from the extra deck. So I actually can't do this. Never mind. So basically, yeah, it would be. Yeah, so this would be my closing. Yeah, so I would not actually summon Dark Magician. So because both of these fusion monsters summon with the fusion spell, their names are Dark Magician, so they will be protected by Eternal Soul, right? Then okay. Yeah, I think that yeah. So that's my finishing board. So we have total of 3 interruptions, right? Dragoon Negate, Skill Drain, which is a floodgate, and we have Eternal Soul, which can revive Dark Magician and banish one of their cards. And we have 2 Bestials in hand, but unfortunately, I think the Bestials, there might not be room for the Bestials because of the. So yeah, it's not bad. But yeah, pretty solid. Like definitely a much better finish board than previously. So let's start over here and try another test hand. Alright, so thinking right off the bat that we want to do. So I'm going to activate the fusion spell right away. And then let's do. Oh, I guess I would reveal. So reveal Rod. So I'm gonna send Dark Magician Girl and Mana to the graveyard to summon the Dark Magicians. And then let's do normal summon Rod. So add Dark Magical Circle. Then we'll link this away to declare its effect to set a card. Let's set Eternal Soul. Actually, are we going to use Eternal Soul this turn? Maybe. Actually, I don't think we are. So actually, let me do this instead. Let me actually set the fusion spell again to this column. And then I'll activate. So I'll send Dark Magician. And then one of my dragons. Let's do Druid Worm to make it good. Then let's do this, and I'll chain this. Let's put Salvation on top. Whoops. And didn't mean to put this. So top of the deck. Oh, this is the top. So I'll add this to hand. Okay, so let's do Eternal Soul. Okay, now let's do activate Soul Servant, sending Mahad to the graveyard. Special summon defense. And now I think it's time to use Soul Servants. So declare Soul Servant banish to draw 4. 2, 3, 4. Okay, pretty good. So let's do. Start. Draw again. Let's activate the Dark Magician. The Dark Magicians to draw again. And now let's see how many draws we have left. I'll activate Magician's Soul, sending this extra skill drain to draw again. Okay. So now let's link this away into the link 2 here. Now let's see what we want to do. We want to I'll use this use this card. We're gonna target the vanilla Dark Magician in the graveyard, and we're gonna mill Magician in Chaos, and then this goes to the bottom of the deck, and then we draw a card. All right, cool. So now what we do is we active. All right, so I think this is our full. This might be our full power board. So I'll activate this to perform a ritual summon. Since I control Dark Magician, I'm gonna ritual summon. I'm gonna send Dark Magician from deck to grave to special summon this in attack position. And now what we can do is I can use Secrets of Dark Magic here to perform a ritual summon of Illusion of Chaos. So I'm gonna send Dark Magician to the graveyard to special summon this. Bam. And now, yeah, we can set this and this, and then here's our full board. So this board is a lot better than the last test hand, because last test hand we ended with Dragoon Dark Magicians and Eternal Soul Dark Magical Circle, right? Now because we got like much better draws, we were also able to end on Magician of Chaos. So for those who don't know, Illusion of Chaos on the field is a monster negate. So it says when an opponent activates a monster effect, you can return this card in the hand. If you do, special summon one Dark Magician from your graveyard. If you do that, negate that activated effect. So yeah, this makes it so that and we have 2 Dark Magicians in the graveyard, one for Eternal Soul, one for Illusion of Chaos if necessary. So yeah, this is a really good end board. Let's count the number of interruptions. 1 Dragoon negate, 1 pop from Magician Chaos, 1 monster negate from Illusion of Chaos. Obviously our Eternal Soul Dark Magical Circle combo, which will give us a banish, and skill drain and call by are also interruptions. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 interruptions, and then 7th is in our hand via the Bestial, but we might not have space in the graveyard for the Bestial. So yeah, but that's still like, this is probably our full power board. So instead of one of these two, I could have gone to a second Dragoon, but I didn't have the cards in hand, right? Like, because Dragoon needs to discard a card to, which granted. So on my opponent's turn, if I use a spell trap, Dark Magicians can draw me a card, so I could get a second card in my hand. But yeah, this is an insane end board, right? This is exactly every Dark Magician player's wet dream right here. Like, having like all our boss monsters that we could possibly imagine is like, yeah, this is great. And if you read Sorcerer Dark Illusion, so if my Dark Magician spell traps are destroyed, you can banish this card instead, which means Eternal Soul and Dark Magician and like Dark Magical Circle won't be destroyed while this is on the field, right? By card effects. So yeah, this is insane, yo. Oh man, I think I solved Dark Magician, folks. I think I created the perfect cards. I just synergized perfectly. All right, so let's try this again. Yeah, and obviously Rod can recur back, right? The Link one can also recur. All right, let's see this new opening hand. So this new opening hand is a lot worse. So let's start with Preparation of Rites. Grab our Illusion of Chaos. So I'm going to activate Illusion of Chaos. Search our Rod, because you need to get that Rod. I feel like Rod is like going to be the primary target. And we're going to put one of the Bestials on top of the deck. The reason being because Druid Swarm is once per turn. So there's not really a point to having more than one here. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to, let me see. See what the best way to do this would be. So we can send Dark Magician Girl to the graveyard to immediately link summon. So why don't we do that? So immediately go into our link one. And then declare, whoops. That was a mistake. So declare attack, and then we'll set a card. So why don't we set Dark Magical Circle. And then we'll normal Rod here. So Rod will search us our fusion spell. Oh, sorry, actually, I want to summon to this position here. Yeah, so the fusion spell will be hand here. And I'm going to activate the fusion spell. And I'm going to immediately, we're going to go into the Dark Magicians by sending Dark Magician and Mana. So I'll summon this, I'll put in defense position here. And then we will, so we have 3 of them, right? So then I'm going to link this away, so to graveyard, into the link 2. And then we'll activate the link 2 effect, targeting the fusion spell in our graveyard to go on bottom of the deck, and we'll send Mahad to the grave. So Mahad goes back, the fusion spell goes to the bottom of the deck, and then we draw a card. Oh, sorry. We can actually, yeah. Let's draw a card. Okay, so we drew the vanilla Dark Magician, which is not great, but that's okay. So now we're gonna activate Circle, and then we're gonna chain this. So we'll go ahead and put Salvation on top of the deck. So to top of deck. Let's spend it on top. Okay, so we're gonna add Salvation, so to hand, and then we're gonna put Skill Drain on the bottom or on top, and then we're gonna put the fusion spell on top of that. And then because we used a spell card on new chain, we can activate the Dark Magicians to draw a card. Okay, cool. Now we can activate Salvation. Set Eternal Soul. Now I can activate Dark Magical Fusion Ritual. Again, sending Dark Magician from hand. And let's send a Druid Worm. Let's send a Druid Worm to the graveyard. To fusion summon Res Dark Dragoon. Alright, so we've used a draw from Sorcerer, we've used a draw from Dark Magicians. Now, we haven't yet used a draw from Soul Servant, so let's do that. So, I'm going to go ahead and banish Soul Servant to get a draw 4. Oh my. Alright, this is actually, like, incredible. For a multitude of reasons, as you'll soon see. So, okay. Unfortunately, the thing that kind of sucks is that all our like bricks are in the graveyard already, and if I want to play Dark Magical Fusion Ritual again, then basically I gotta like put a Dark Magician back into my deck, right? Hold on, let me see what I wrote here. So I said, so activate, including plating monster, Dark Magician, or monster that mentions it. So technically, I could send. Let me think about this. I could send Illusion of Chaos. From, yeah, so if I activate this, I can summon Magician of Chaos by milling Illusion of Chaos. So yeah, so let's do that. Okay, now let's do. So I'm gonna go ahead and do. I'm gonna activate Timaeus, sending Soul Servants to summon itself. So I'm gonna attack position. And now what I can do is I can activate Timaeus effect, fusing Magician Chaos and Timaeus into a second Dragoon. And then I can set this card here. And then on my opponent's turn, I can use Eternal Soul to revive Magician of Chaos, because this is named Dark Magician in the graveyard, and it was properly summoned. And I could get Dark Magician to draw me a card so that I'll have enough discard fodder. So this is my end board this time. So double Dragoon with Skill Drain, Eternal Soul, Circle. So pretty good. Maybe not as good as the previous board, but very solid. Like, look how consistently I'm building these like amazing boards, right? Yeah, this time I opt to go for double Dragoon just because I drew into that Timaeus, right? Both of these Dragoons have a single pop though. They're not double pop. The only way to get the double pop Dragoon is if you put Red Eyes Black Dragon in your deck, but I don't think we really need to do that. I think one pop is enough. Like, you just want that negate, right? So yeah, this is pretty freaking good. Not gonna lie. Yeah, and then on your opponent's turn, right? Then you can like literally like, you know, activate this, right? You could like special summon this, right? And then we could do, and then on new chain it would be Chain Link 1, Dark Magicians, Chain Link 2, Dark Magical Servant, target a card to match, Chain Link 3, Magician Chaos, to pop one of their cards, right? And then Chain Link 4, we could do like Magician Salvation if we want to get a Dark Magician Girl on the field, right? So like pop, banish, draw. And then on the new chain, we could do Rod, send this to grave, and then this back to hand, right? If we wanted to. So, yeah, this is like, this is insane, yo. Alright, let's do one more test hand just so y'all can see like that this new way of playing Dark Magician with like my custom cards. This is no joke. Like, Konami, if you're a Konami rep watching this video on YouTube, oh baby, oh look at my draw. All right, I actually opened the God hand this time, and you'll see why in a second. So, all right, so let's start with activating this. So we're gonna summon we're gonna reveal Rod in order to do this in hand, and then we're going to fuse the Dark Magician Girl with mana to make the Dark Magicians. And then we're going to Rod here. Normal Rod. Let's get Dark Magical Circle. Bro, this is crazy. Alright, so now we want to do okay, let's see. We want to do link this away. So into the link 1. Activate the link 1 effect to set Soul Servant. And then which we can activate this turn if we want. So then we're gonna activate Dark Magical Fusion Ritual again. To basically fuse Dark Magician with a dragon. So let's just do Druid Swarm. Dragoon, Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Okay. Now we want to do let's activate Souls, sending. Let's see who we want to send. I actually want to send Mahad, right? So Mahad to grave. Souls. Now we're gonna activate Dark Magical Circle. And then we're gonna chain Soul Servant. So that's gonna put Magician Salvation right here. Top of the deck. Vanish, vanish. So let's go ahead and get this to hand. And then let's do, put Upstart on top. And then let's do Soul Servant on top. Okay, so now that goes to the grave. I want to use the Dark Magicians to draw a card, I believe. So let's go ahead and activate this to draw a card. So we'll draw our Soul Servant, right? And now we'll activate Magician Salvation to set Eternal Soul here. And now we're going to activate Magician Souls to send Magician Salvation to the grave to get us a draw, and we'll immediately chain Soul Servant. And we're going to put the fusion spell on top of our deck so that we can instantly draw it. Oh boy, what have I done? This is way too good. Right, so now what we want to do is let's link this away into the link 2. Now we're going to use the link 2 effect targeting Dark Magician in the graveyard to return to the deck. And we're going to mill Magician to Chaos. I want to say. This will get us a draw. And this goes in the bottom of the deck. Then we draw a card. Bam. Oh, baby. Alright, now we want to use Dark Magical Fusion Ritual. Again, this time we're going to Ritual Summon. We're going to send Vanilla Dark Magician to Special Summon this guy, right? And now we're going to finally use Soul Servants. Banish to draw 4 cards. Cool. And now what we can do is we can activate Illusion of Chaos. Wait, do we want to activate Illusion of Chaos? I don't think we've used it yet. Yeah, so we'll activate Illusion of Chaos. Let's grab Apprentice Illusion Magician to our hand. And we'll put we won't put on top of the deck. Let's put Illusion of Chaos on top of the deck. And then we're gonna activate oh, that was a mistake actually. No, let's keep Illusion of Chaos and let's put on top of our deck a Druid Worm. Now I'll activate Timaeus. Sending Illusion of Chaos to the graveyard to summon itself. Now we'll activate Timaeus to fuse away itself and Magician of Chaos to make another Dragoon. Then we'll set Skill Drain, and then I think we're good. So then on our opponent's turn, similarly, we can use this to revive Magician of Chaos, right? And then new chain, we could do Chain Link 1, Dark Magicians to draw, Chain Link 2, Our Magical Circle to banish a card, chain link 3, Magician of Chaos to like, oh, let's actually set this here to pop one of their cards, and then we can chain link 3 if we want. Magician's Apprentice, which will send Magician of Chaos to the hand or to the grave. Summon Apprentice to the field, and then on new chain we'll do. We'll draw a card from the Dark Magicians. We'll do chain link 1, the Apprentice Magician, Magician's Apprentice, chain link 2 Rod, tributing. Oh wait, we don't want to tribute Apprentice Magician. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, so either we bring her back if we want to search Spell Trap immediately, or we bring Rod back. So actually, we would bring Rod back to the hand, because Rod can search us a Spell Trap. So yeah, this is pretty nuts. And then like we have double Dragoon Negate, we have Skill Drain, we have Protection with Apprentice Illusion. Wow, this is insane. All right, one more time. 5th time's a charm. I'll do a 5th practice hand just so y'all can see that, once and for all, that this deck will never brick. This deck literally cannot brick. All right, so this is, speaking of cannot brick, we sort of bricked. So Dark. All right, so in this case, we actually did brick because the only Dark Magician related card we opened was Dark Magical Fusion Ritual, and it cannot fuse materials from the deck without a Dark Magician related monster in the hand to reveal. So yeah, this is actually a brick. So okay, all right, this deck can brick. Sad. So let's try this again. All right, this one is not a brick. This is the opposite of a brick. Cool. Let's see what we want to do. We want to do normal Rod. So grab the fusion spell. Then we want to link Rod. Whoops, not to grave. So let's put Dark Magical Circle. And we want to do activate this. Let's send Dark Magician Girl and Mana. So graveyard to summon the Dark Magicians. Declare that. Chain this to put this card here on top of the deck. This gets added to the hand. Put this on top. Let's actually get this to Myas. So we'll draw that to Myas. Let's see what we want to do. So I'll activate Timaeus. Sending Magician of Chaos to the graveyard. Let's see. So the Dark Magician's here, when it was summoned by the effect of the spell card, its name became Dark Magician. So technically I can use Timaeus Actually, no, before that, I'm going to actually use the Dark Magician Fusion Ritual. Let's do this first. Sending Vanilla Dark Magician to the graveyard. Wait, actually, I can use Palladium monsters instead. So actually, instead of that, let's use... No, that's okay, that's okay. So then, I'll summon this here, like that. Okay, from the graveyard. And then I'll activate Tamias to summon Dragoon. Okay, so that worked out. So now we can... oh, no. I don't want to send Dark Magician. I do want to send Mahad. Yeah. Because I'm allowed to use Mahad as fusion material. Okay, so yeah, because the Dark Magician Chaos is the Dark Magician name in the graveyard. So now I'll activate Soul Servants. Banish this to draw 4. There we go. Oh my goodness. Alright, so this just got shit just got real. So alright, so here's the deal. This is a god draw. So let's go ahead and activate this. So we'll tribute Dark Magician from the deck, and then summon Illusion of Chaos. Okay, and now we will... So Magician Chaos has already been summoned here. We'll use this again. Let's do... So send Dark Magician and a Dragon. Let's send Druid Worm. But it could have been to like... So Ravis. To make a second Dragoon. And then, just for shits and giggles, let's send Illusion of Chaos to the grave. Oh, that was silly of me. So I should have done Souls first. Yeah, because then I can summon this. Yeah, so let me do that. So this Illusion of Chaos was summoned from the graveyard off of Soul Servant. Okay. And now I'll send 2 cards to the graveyard to draw. Just draw more cards. Okay, cool. And now we will link away this, and then we'll activate... See. We'll activate the Link monster here, targeting Dark Magician in the graveyard. To go back, and then I'll mill Soul Servants. So Soul Servant gets milled, and then Dark Magician goes to the top of the bottom of the deck. And I draw a card, and then I'll activate Illusion of Chaos in hand to search Apprentice Illusion Magician, and then I'll put Druid Worm. I'll put Illusion of Chaos on top of the deck. And then, yeah, that's it. So that's the final board here. Yeah, so this actually might be the strongest board we've made because Magician Chaos was properly summoned, which means on our opponent's turn, so let's say we go to end phase, right? And then on my opponent's turn, we could activate Eternal Soul, bring back Magician of Chaos, and then new chain link 1, Dark Magicians to draw, chainlink 2, Dark Magical Circle to banish, chainlink 3, Magician of Chaos to pop, and then we can do chainlink 4 like Rod to tribute this, get Rod back to hand, and then we'll pop, negate, or pop, banish, and then draw a card off the Dark Magicians. And then we have a Magician, Apprentice Illusion Mission to protect one of our monsters. Yeah, so this, alright, so this is actually probably the best board. But you see, like, of the 6 hands that we tested out, one actually did brick, only because, like, we opened, like, a bunch of hand traps, basically, rather than, like, yeah. So the fusion spell, that showcase that the fusion spell by itself is not good enough to, like you actually need fusion spell, and that, you know, because we couldn't fuse from deck because we didn't have another Dark Magician related monster to reveal. Therefore, we couldn't actually, like, make a play there. So yeah, I like this a lot. So if you enjoy my custom cards, whenever LOLZA puts out the, you know, if you enjoy seeing Dark Magician play this way, then yeah, whenever LOLZA puts out a voting system or whatever mechanism, so you can vote on custom cards, vote for my cards, because as you can see here, these 3 cards, and granted, when I say 3 cards, like, yeah, so it's 3 unique cards, but if you actually look at what is it? The actual deck that I made. So three copies of the spell, 2 copies of each Link monster. So a total of 7 total cards committed to the Dark Magician deck. And basically, like, these cards replace Red Ice Fusion, right? And then these cards replace, like, Amduk Timaeus, Link Spider, Link Rebo, right? So yeah, if you enjoyed my cards, vote. Whenever LOLZA puts it out, vote. You know, when I do my collab with LOLZA, I'll probably do custom hands with this deck again, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna I'm gonna blow his mind as well. And if he I don't know if we're gonna duel, like, my custom deck versus his custom deck, where he puts in other cards that people submitted to him. But I think my cards will win out in the end and will prove to be the better. But so if you think this is too broken, remember that we're in a tier 0 format with tier limits, where they put out so many monster interruptions and, like, negates and blah blah blah. I don't know. Like, would this make Dark Magician tier 0? Maybe. I mean, it's clearly very powerful, like, as you saw, like, some of the end boards that we had. So obviously, one more thing to note: these Bestials here. So if you take all these out, then we have a total of 2 dragons we can fuse with, Timaeus and Soravis, right? So either of them can be used to make Dragoon, right? Fusing from the deck. I used the Bestials just because, like, I could, right? I had them. But, like, yeah, ideally, like, you know, if you want to make a Dark Magician Buster Blader deck, you can. And then that would also, like, be really powerful. So yeah, so I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, let me know in the comments if you think that this is too broken, if you think my custom cards are just right, if you think anything should be tuned. So the only things I thought about was maybe in the Sorcerer Dark Illusions monster, maybe remove the draw 1 ability. Like, so, you know, this is mill a card, put a card in the bottom of your deck, and then draw a card. But maybe the draw 1 is too powerful. I don't know. Maybe the mill is too powerful. I don't know. But again, I want the point of these 3 cards is to make cards where it gives Dark Magician players everything they could possibly ask for, so we'll never complain or whine ever again, or think that Konami is, like, screwing us. So yeah, if you're a Konami card designer, whatever, working, and you see this YouTube video of mine, please consider these cards. Like, if you think they're too broken, trust me, they're not as broken as some of the stuff you've already put out. So just putting that out there. Anyway, yeah, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace. Hopefully with the LOLZA collab for Dark Magician stuff. All right, later.